Recording.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sick Folks of Cinema. Woo! My name is Dina. I will be your host for this episode right here. And with me, as always, are my lovely compadres. We have the awesome Stefan Bowman. I don't know which way he is on my screen.
You're right next to me.
And we also have Keith Graber down there with the weird doll head background. I don't know what's going on there. And as always, the beautiful Heather Rogue.
Hello.
No.
All right, y'all. So what have you guys been watching?
I'll
Stuff.
take this question.
All right, Keith, what have you been watching?
So what I've been watching lately is
First of all, I've been watching my new Christmas sweater. By the way, in California, we wear ugly Christmas T-shirts, not sweaters, because
It's appropriate.
it gets too sweaty.
for
No,
yourself. I'm cold.
I know. I got the thermal underneath it. I've been watching. So I've been watching a ton of horror. I'll be honest with you, but I have been watching. I watched the latest season of Big Mouth, which is pretty freaky sometimes. So it counts. It's great. I love it. And I've been watching. Okay, so I don't know if you know much about me, but I like to get high and watch like the Science Channel,
Nice.
and nature shows, and
Yes.
then like a little sci-fi and stuff. And so
That's where you and Ed are like made for each other, because
Yeah.
that's what he does too. Planet
does
Earth,
both.
that's his shit.
you know. And then so I'm flipping through Netflix, and there's this show called Alien Worlds, and it's like they do 3D animation to make a nature show that's fake, that's sci-fi, about what would exist on other planets.
On alien planets, yeah.
And I'm like, did you guys? I thought I was so high I thought it said Keith in the description, because it was like made for me. It's exactly my show.
Oh, man.
That was a dope show. Me and Ed watched it, and it was so good. It was
Yeah.
so good.
It's pretty good. You know those shows. Like, you always want them to be better. They repeat like the same segments, because they're like, this shit is expensive. This animation, we're gonna wring out every drop. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was cool. What about you
All right,
guys?
cool.
Well, I mean, if you're stoned, man, that's got to like improve the budget, even a little. I mean, who would like to go next?
Heather, what you been watching, girl?
So
Tell us.
I watched a movie called High Tension,
Oh, yes.
and
Classic.
I've watched other movies too, like just like random B horror movies that are on Tubi. But the only one I remember is High Tension, so that's the one that I'm going to talk about, because the only one that kept me awake. It's like, right in the name. It's very tense. It's very simple on its surface. Like, it's just like a girl's visiting her girlfriend's folks for, like just going and visiting, but then an intruder comes and whatnot, bad shit happens, and you just kind of like watching it.
Yeah, great director too.
And it's I don't want to give anything away. I'm just gonna say I recommend it. It's good. It's worth the watch. And then it's actually a lot more complex.
It's called High Tension.
Like it looks very simple on top, but then there's a lot to it. So I really like that movie. I really don't remember anything else that I watched this week.
No,
besides this.
There's so much garbage on Tubi.
If you like that film, Heather, you got to watch all of the rest of Alexander Aja's other movies. He did the remake for Hills Have Eyes. I think that was in 2000. Yeah, he did that one. He also did the Kiefer Sutherland one called Mirrors, which is one of his more so-so ones.
Oh, that one's
But he did do the first remake for Piranha also.
As a person who's afraid of mirrors, I gotta say that movie did not do shit for me.
Yeah, no, yeah,
That's
that
like
was
actually something I'm like legitimately irrationally afraid of because I think that there's demons living inside of them. And
Yeah.
I think that if you look at one and you say Bloody Mary 3 times with the red candle, he's gonna come and start like.
What about Candyman? What about
something weird
Candyman
with
then?
fucking
Can I say, by the
herpes.
way, I want to say about Tubi. Tubi is like if you for some reason you found like some corner video store from 1995 that was still open that never got the notice that all that shit is on.
Closed.
Yeah. And
I love
all they have is B level crap and lots of it. You know, that's what Tubi is.
Right? Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but-
will tell you. One of my favorite hobbies is when I get super, super, super stoned and Ed's like deep in like EverQuest or like his own game. And I'm like, I don't really want to watch something because I'm too stoned to decide anything.
Mhm.
I just browse Tubi and I just add shit to my list. And I'll go back like the next day and be like, why did I add this? What is this?
Evil
It's
bong. What is this?
12:30 a.m.
to do
Sleeping's
it.
not an option, and you just want to get high and binge crap. That's Tubi. Sorry, Heather. What were we saying?
I said I don't even mean to do it. I just actually intend to watch something, but I end up more entertained by the title of the movie than anything else about it and the cover. And just like the confusing mess that it is. But I don't actually want to know anything about it. I just am excited that something like piranhas in space exists. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah,
that's
Sparks
what I
joy
mean. In
inside.
those crappy video stores, that's all you're going off of is the cover. You know, the poster that they made and the description on the back and some of the weird actors. You're like, it's got.
Yeah, you could have watched trailers. You just had to like take a risk and take it home.
Yeah.
yeah. I remember the year.
Scared
sorry,
of
go
the
ahead.
horror movies. I couldn't even look at all the fucking scary ghosts staring at you through the horror movie aisle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember the year that High Tension came out because it was a French. It's basically a French horror movie. And the original title is I'm not even going to pronounce it right because I don't know French, but Haute Tension. In the U.S., it's known as High Tension, but in France, it's known as that one.
Hot tension.
Yeah, but
I think it's pronounced.
yeah, he also did the recent movie in 2019 called the same director, Alexander Aja. He did the movie Crawl about what is it, alligators or those crocodiles in Florida? I forget which one it is. If you haven't seen it, it's actually a pretty good creature feature horror film. It's actually not bad. Called
Yeah,
Crawl.
I like High Tension because of how grounded it was, and it seemed really grounded the whole way through until it got really, really bizarre.
Well, the gore in that is just
Well, it's there. It exists. It's definitely a
it's-
movie for some sick fucks. You know?
Oh yes, oh I agree.
It'll satisfy your sick fuck needs if you want to see some shit that.
No, it's brutal. That's a brutal one, man.
brutal,
That's not for no tenderfoots.
some blood spraying goddamn everywhere.
Oh yeah. Well, hell, the opening sequence.
It is not like The Wailing. It is not off screen.
It's just right there in your face.
No, it's in. Yeah,
It's
it's
very
yeah.
much on screen.
It's like
It's
a
still off
Italian gallo horror in the sense of like the gore. It's intense. It's not like you see a little bit and then the camera moves away. Nah, dude, that shit's like beep.
Yeah, I think it's called like French Extremity or something like that. Like Martyrs falls into the same category.
Ooh, what a good movie, the original. Oh my god.
Of just like extreme
Oh
violence.
yeah. But yeah, he's one of my favorite modern horror directors. I love his Piranha 3D, not the Double D. That one's comedically funny, horrible movie. But the original Piranha 3D, which was the first remake for Piranha, I like that one. There's some people who still don't like it, but I oh my god, that in 3D, like that was still around the time when everybody's like, oh, 3D is a gimmick. That one in 3D though, holy fucking shit! If you're into horror and you're like you want to see 3D gore, fucking crazy. I'm just gonna say, holy shit.
What have you been watching, Stefan?
Stranger Things season 3 wrapped that up. Obviously Mandalorian episode 8. And then I did 4K for Skyfall because I still got to finish those James Bonds in 4K. I finally got this bad boy in right there, and I watched the Argento cut for Dawn of the Dead, which in Italy is known as Zombie. got through that. That was really good. A lot of more. How do you say it? The way he edited it was definitely different than the theatrical US version. There's stuff in there, it's so different. It's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. I finished all of Queen's Gambit on Netflix. Really good. If you hate chess, then
Queen's Gambit was really
oh
good.
yeah. If you hate chess though, don't watch it. And I got through about 3 episodes of the new Creep Show on Shudder, and it's actually pretty good. It's actually not bad, surprisingly.
Nice. I gotta get Shudder.
And then that new one I was talking to you guys about, Alice in Borderland, the Japanese show, which is like Hunger Games meets Saw meets Alice in Wonderland. It's a very bizarre mix. Play the game or you get a laser in your brain. It's as simple as that.
Your head, all right. Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, and it was actually pretty good. It's very bizarre, and they have again some Alice in Wonderland type theme stuff going on in there, obviously, and some of the drama stuff is stupid, but a lot of the other stuff surrounding it is surprisingly actually pretty good. But some of the other stuff I had to kind of like, I'd give them like 30 seconds if they didn't get to what the fuck they had to, and they were taking 5 minutes to get to it. I just forwarded through that because I didn't need that to forward the plot.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been watching.
Nice.
That's it.
I haven't been watching anything like super scary. I've been in a mystery mood this week.
Nice.
Like we started off, we watched the first season of Altered Carbon in like 2 days.
Oh yeah, I watched all.
Really,
that. Awesome.
really good.
Oh,
and that's
awesome.
that's like a good mystery.
Oh yeah.
I liked it. It reminded me of Westworld, and I'm a sucker for Westworld. Like it's a complex story, but it sets itself up. Like it takes the entire season to really get everything.
How did you like the noir aspect of Altered Carbon?
The what now?
Altered Carbon, the noir, the detective.
Oh yeah, it was really, really good. Like there were some scenes where they set it up just like a Dick Tracy novel.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty clever. It's clever for being so sci-fi and in the future.
No, yeah, it's amazing. One of my favorite things in there. And again, I won't. If anybody hasn't seen it, I won't spoil the great details of it. But I love the Edgar Allan Poe AI that runs the hotel.
And yeah,
fucking amazing, dude.
Eddie had seen the first season, and he was like, "This is gonna be your favorite character. This is gonna be your favorite."
Have you seen it yet, Keith?
Altered Carbon?
Yeah.
No, it's actually on my list.
Oh, you got to watch it, brother. Oh my god. I
started and didn't get into it right away, but
it's a little slow. I'm gonna lie. I think the first episode or two is a little slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts out a little slow.
Same boat.
But when you get to the hotel, man, the Edgar Allan Poe hotel, I think that's when things start picking up.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, and then we also watched Knives Out on Amazon Prime.
Good flick. Good flick.
That was probably one of the best mystery movies that I've seen in a long time.
I'd have been happy if you.
It was so much fun. All the characters were I just love that everybody had a motive.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, you could point the finger at anyone, it would have made sense.
Clue, Clue.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
it was definitely subverting Clue and
the whodunit genre.
Express and all of those movies.
I wish that he would have done Star Wars even like that, right? I'd have been happy even if it was fucking like that. I'm just saying, because how
done it who's Ray's father, is that
or something? Because that movie versus Star Wars is just light years better versus this Star Wars movie, in my opinion.
And a couple parsecs, yeah.
I still think that he made one of the better Disney Star Wars movies.
Maybe if you give me a lot of drugs.
Disney Star Wars? What are you saying, Heather?
I think that what's his name?
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, he did The Last Jedi, right?
I think that he made one of the better Disney Star Wars movies. It's not saying much because all of
it's master debatable. It's master debatable.
But
I would put Last Jedi as one of the last two, in my opinion.
I would put the one after that, whatever the fuck.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, both of those can go in the dumpster.
Already forgot it.
Dude.
Force Awakens is the best of the new ones of that.
Don't put the Han Solo one either.
Solo was a little much. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't
better than
it was hard for me to, if I have to sit down 3 times to try and watch a fucking movie all the way through, it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie, yeah.
Well, you got to remember, a lot of Solo was already shot. Ron Howard really came in and kind of tried to glue it together and then add his stuff too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Heather Rogue One.
Heather Rogue
Oh,
One.
I hated Rogue One.
Oh, you didn't like Rogue One?
Rogue
Oh.
One was garbage.
Force
I hated
Awakens.
it.
I thought Rogue One was extremely flawed.
Oh, I love Rogue One.
They're all flawed.
Extremely flawed.
But
No, yeah, they all have issues.
We're ranking our favorite shape of turds at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
okay, fine.
That one didn't hurt when it came out.
Okay, so all together, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Don't say Christmas special because I'm taking.
She's
Like
like, I'll murder you.
taking it
What,
off.
I'm a Gen X boy. Like Empire or die. Are you joking?
Yeah, original trilogy all the way. Fuck all the rest.
Yeah. I mean, if there's of all the movies ever made, it's a Star Wars with the Star Wars name on it. It's Empire for sure.
A New Hope.
See, that's a hard one for me because when
I
was
like A New Hope too, though. It's hard to choose between those.
the original 3, it's really hard because I grew up and then became more consciously aware of what was going on by the time Return of the Jedi came out. Then I was like, oh shit, got these little my brother he lied to me and told me all of the Ewoks were Filipinos. Racist bastard. That's for real too.
This is how old I am. When Phantom Menace came out, I thought it was a good movie.
You know,
Again,
Yeah,
the
when
age
it
the age in which you see it is going to also affect your if nostalgic
I thought it
vibes
was-
or
but
feels.
I was at that age where I was like, "This is so cool!" Fucking
Yeah.
I have to say that
Christmas.
It was like, there's a lightsaber coming out the other side of his lightsaber.
I have to say
Darth
though,
Maul was
on
like
the
crazy.
topic of Phantom Menace and in your brother's defense, Stefan, like all of the Star Wars aliens are based on racist stereotypes.
I know, huh? Damn it, George.
He wasn't far
It's
off.
weird,
He pulled off
right?
so much.
Like how many human characters have accents that aren't British accents? I mean,
Oh no, like no,
Well-
they're either American or British accents.
right.
Well, the good guys were American, the bad guys were British. And that's our topic
That's
of
not
Star
true.
Wars.
That's not true, though,
That's
because
the best segue we've had so far.
Obi-Wan Kenobi was British.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
And so Darth
There
had
never was one in the entire Star Wars saga.
And that was
Darth
one of the
didn't
best
have the
actors in the entire Star Wars
accent.
original trilogy is the guy who played Obi-Wan, the original dude.
yeah.
I forget his name.
Speaking of movie
It's escaping
characters
me.
that sound British and act American,
We're gonna talk about our movie this week. We watched The Children.
the children.
That was
2000.
created in
Did
2008.
Ryan Johnson make that movie too? I don't know.
No, he didn't. Who did make that movie?
No, I know.
Yeah,
wasn't-
it is a
was-
2008 movie,
Tom
and it was
Shankland.
Tom Shankland.
Mhm.
And he
I
was
wanted to
also
be
one of the
Shankland
writers.
while watching it.
It was pretty wild, y'all. It was pretty wild. I don't know. How did you guys feel before I pour my heart out?
I rather drink a vat of acid.
How much time you got? Yeah.
Strong
Yeah,
feelings.
how much time do you have?
Well, I did. It did feel a little bit like when it opened up and I heard all these British accents, but I'm like, if I had the sound off, I would swear I'm watching just some dumb Americans, some like I don't know, like they live in California or something, and
Some wanks.
yeah, they're making avocado toast and they're drinking oat milk and they're helicopter parenting their kids and all that shit. Like there was all that element in there. But then I heard someone say potty and I thought they were talking about a toilet. And then I was like, oh, that's right. It's British. Okay. The potty.
Party. We're gonna have
There's
a
a
party.
potty. I'm like, that's you sure, like back there, that's where I use the potty, right? That's what we're talking about. It's the
That's
potty.
right. Yes.
Anyway, guys, this movie, in my opinion, counts as contraceptive. Okay. For all our viewers out there and listeners, you're having an argument about whether to have children with your significant other. Make them watch this film. It's not the murdering. The murdering's fine.
That's the absolute
That's
least part.
the-
Like Oh my God.
Those are the best parts of the movie. God damn it!
Oh my God.
Wish it would have happened right away.
The most horrific part is the most real part of the movie, which is like your children are never actually going to kill you, though the chance is never zero. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Daddy.
Can we just say that this is the most dysfunctional family I have ever seen in my entire life?
Mhm.
Everybody sucked. The only one that was cool was Uncle Robbie, and we know what happened to him.
Oh, the
Spoiler alert,
perv.
it's not good, y'all.
The
The
first
perv.
Uncle Robbie was the first one, right? Yeah, he was a little too close to the teenager. Am I
You
wrong?
ain't gotta call me uncle.
Yeah.
I
On
mean,
the-
she was
I was
walking
like-
around in the snow with thigh-high stockings and a short-ass jean skirt. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing? Are you victim blaming right now?
it just didn't make sense.
It's
felt like
just
that
warmer in the thigh-high stocking.
I just felt like whoever wrote this movie had no idea how a family dynamic worked and how children actually worked.
Yeah. There was
Like,
a lot of
like I guarantee, like everybody who was like involved in the writing process did not have children. Nobody did.
yeah.
And was there a writing process?
I didn't like
feel like
how
They
The-
were people who hated children, and it was deeply motivated by
Yeah.
just the hatred of other people's children, of like the children of the downstairs neighbors that you might have to listen to play outside your room all the fucking time. And sorry, I'm getting a little personal.
this was what
and
what
you're just
bothered
like,
me.
what if I had a justifiable reason to run this person over with a car? You know, like I feel like a lot of it is just they're just like, yeah, well, they have to kill the parents, right? And then I have a reason to just fucking mow them over.
And the lack of knowledge about of parenting was like the most apparent when the killing started to unfold. And there's all these blown assignments of like, you go out there and watch this kid, you go over there and watch this kid, you take this kid to that kid, and like, oh, where'd that kid go? Who's watching that kid? And they're always running away, and no one. There's a part where they're like, the kids ran into the woods. They're like, where'd they go? Like, asshole, you should be watching those kids.
Yeah.
How did you let them run into the woods?
Exactly.
Why are you
That was
constantly
so
splitting
weird.
up?
There were 4 kids. This wasn't a whole school or an
Yes,
orphanage where it was out of control. You had
4
4
adults.
kids,
And a
to watch.
swinger. Yeah.
and
like,
one
they would just like walk off right into the woods with
Willy-nilly.
no one's paying any attention to them.
And
No.
the
Where's
same
where's
thing with
child
the dead
services?
body. Uncle Robbie, the dead body, who wasn't even dead. They blew that. They blew that fucking coverage.
how did they blow that?
If somebody gets hurt and they're on the ground bleeding, that's the first thing you do is check their vitals, make sure they're okay, see what state they're in. Am I wrong?
She
No,
was
you're
way
correct.
too distraught. She
And-
her potty was ruined, okay?
Her body.
She was just it see how quickly
Well,
British
I'll
goes
say.
to Boston? I mean,
The other thing
the
is
potty was ruined.
they were like calling an ambulance, and the ambulance is like, it's gonna be like 30 minutes, you know, or some shit. And they're like, oh, well, I guess that's it then. But then later they just like drive away as soon as someone else gets injured. And it's like, why didn't you just drive in the first place?
I don't know.
You know,
Like so many
yeah.
things. Like I feel like the first time I actually cared about what was going on in the movie was, spoiler alert, when the shitty stepdad and the even shittier aunt were like, oh yeah, it's the teenager's fault. It's this moody, angsty, black
Yeah.
sheep teenager who wants to party on New Year's Eve instead of
Well-
sitting around with her family. Kill her. It's all her fault.
In
And
their
what did
defense-
he do? He literally went, grabbed his evil demonic favorite child and was like, bye. He left his wife and his oldest daughter. Like he just left them.
in the defense
my
about demonizing the teenager, who would think that these kids are capable of murder? And in fact, like that's a flaw in this plot, is like they actually aren't. They're the only weapon they had is stealth. The only thing that they could do is like, when you're not looking, you think I'm an innocent kid, I'm gonna stab your fucking neck and then you're gonna bleed out, bitch. But like when you know they're coming, they're just little kids. They don't have magic powers. They're just evil. You know, so
Well, I
like
thought that part of it was that it's your own children, so it's like your own children are trying to kill you.
My child's a saint. She wouldn't hurt a thing.
Sure.
And put up any defense against them.
I would even like argue also that maybe they were just it seemed like a localized problem, like because whatever, was it bacteria or something?
It looked like someone had a sinus infection really bad.
Haunting, yeah.
Of them just sleeping on dirty pillows and catching.
You might even be able to get away with saying like, oh well, if I take this child to the hospital and treat, maybe we can cure this. So like all you got to do is like grab a kid, tie it with an extension cord, stick it in the trunk, and nobody could do that. They're all like, what do we do? Get murdered? Well,
that's the thing. Like, that was the other flaw in it. Like, yes, you could have easily, like, when all of the children freak out simultaneously while saying, I don't feel good, I'm sick, I don't feel good.
They hated that part.
Yeah. They literally, all you got to do is be like, okay, we're going to go to the doctor and they're going to give you a shot. If that kid's faking it, they're going to be like, I feel better, mommy. I feel better. All you got to do is threaten children and it's fine. They will tell you if they're lying about going to the hospital or the doctor. These kids were not playing around.
So that's what, like, that to me was the biggest flaw in the movie, was just that like that transition between everything's normal, here's the setup, and here's things getting weird, and like the children needed to start acting weird. And I felt like, I don't know, maybe if they just thought that children were really bad actors, or they just had a really bad director who couldn't direct the kids to carry what they, but the movie needed to depend on their acting ability at the end of the day, either way, because that would have made it fucking creepy as fuck and would have made it feel more believable and would have like pulled you into like what the fuck is wrong with them, which would have like built up to them then like sneaking up and killing people, rather than just like instead I feel like it depended on weird like editing tricks to make like the editing choppy, and the kids are just like wailing and screaming like, I'm sick now. Yeah. And it looks just weird. And then next thing you know, they're fucking like, there's like a little bit with this brat behind me just like standing on a hill staring. Like you can tell he's starting to act fucking weird.
Weird. Polly was not okay.
He was already a messed up kid. He was more of xylophone. I wanted him to die with that xylophone. Like,
oh, you're not kidding, bro. When he kept banging it,
I wanted. He was my first pick to go. I was like, I want everyone to die. Don't get me wrong.
Honestly, I was a little disappointed that Polly didn't kill the stepdad, because he was a dick to that poor kid. Mm-hmm. He was a dick to that poor kid. Also, the other thing that kind of perplexed me about Polly was how the hell was he always like getting up into like these ridiculously high places? Like that happened like three times where he was like, I'm on top of the counter. I don't know how to get down. Like I'm on top of the, the jungle gym. I don't know how to get down.
I know what his problem was, Tina.
A couple times.
That was my favorite part, was when
he needed an ass whooping.
Bars.
That was stupid for me.
And luring his mom up the fucking monkey bar.
He's like an idiot.
She deserved it though. She deserved it.
But why would you climb the monkey bars to get the kid?
Bad. I was like, yeah, you fucking fall into the most obvious fucking bait on the planet. You dumb.
You walk along to catch the kid. I mean, you're up there.
I can't wait to see. And then she gets a compound fracture of like the dumbest compound. It's just like the most. God. It is like almost. It kind of reminds me of like the icicle falling on the chick in that last movie we did, Black Christmas. Of just there's a killer hunting you, but you get murdered by a fucking random ass icicle. At least he's like pushing her, but it's like the most just like contrived, like you just don't walk on monkey bars in the first place.
While there's even like slippery ice on it too. Jesus.
Or that would be like in Psycho if she slipped in the shower and it was
like she was almost asking for it, but I still loved it because I still just like that's like the kind of shit I wanted to see that this movie doing, was like not just like running up and stabbing people when they're not looking, but actually just like, hey mom, come over here, and fucking like actually like turning just straight up evil for no fucking reason,
And that kind of leads to kind of what I wanted, right? I wanted some shit to happen a lot sooner. How does this
That's
child
okay.
hawk up this lake of disgusting mucus outside when they arrive? Nobody even looks at it remotely. Ends up on the fucking kid's pillow. Nobody's looking at that remotely. Like there's all these different sequences where they're coughing up this lung butter, and nothing's happening, right? The killing in that movie should have started, like, I'd say within the first 15 to 20 minutes. They had us wait a long time before some shit happened. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And there was some
like
times where the kids could have, one of them could have bit the dust between.
Yeah, it should have been an early death that wasn't discovered right away.
Exactly. It was more like an accident.
The story can still hang a little bit on.
Yeah, it could have been something like a dog or something like that. But I just feel like they needed to up the creep factor right from the beginning.
Something.
Because they spent way too much time letting it just be a normal fucking
thing.
But
a little bit.
And they had that out too, because Jinxie, the cat, disappeared.
Yeah, they hinted at that. Yeah.
And nothing, you never, they just had the collar in the tent, which was creepy, but still, maybe they just found the collar. Cats slip out of collars all the time.
I would have wanted to see a little more exposition on what was causing all this, just to kind of identify it a little bit more, and just kind of I don't know, make it an entity in the movie on itself. You know what I mean? Not just.
So maybe a radio, like a radio broadcast or TV broadcast type thing.
Or maybe, I don't know, you just see a slime in the woods or something like that. Or
it could have been something like that. Like it could have been they're playing in the woods and one of them falls and hits their face into some spore or something like that.
Fucking anything at this point.
I feel like it depended way too much on having these random shots edited in,
and the screaming was their way of saying these kids are sick. Hey, check it out. They're screaming a lot. First of all,
and it really just shoves it at you. And that's what I feel like its biggest mistake was, that it needed to up the creep factor from the beginning, not necessarily the kill count, but definitely make it creepy without trying to be okay, now they're fucking evil. You don't just unveil it. It's you got to keep the audience guessing what the fuck is going on, and just make it this weird mystery of are they sick? Are they just being weird snot-nosed brats? What? Because kids are just weird. So if you just play into the fact that kids are fucking weird, that's where a lot of the horror needed to come from. But
I think what would have been cool, honestly, if they're playing outside and there's an altercation with a neighbor, and all the kids decide one night to go murder the motherfucker, and then police come next door and are
the staff
and then the parents are like, hey, what the hell happened to the neighbor, right? And then obviously we, the audience, know it because they snuck over at night and fucking murdered the shit out of them. Something. I mean, something. Fuck.
I mean, you don't even necessarily need to show a scene of them. That could happen off screen, and then that could still keep the mystery up. But it's there's a body count of adults happening around them.
The neighbor's missing, and his wallet or something is in the kid's tent or wherever. They got trophies.
Or in the forest, right? In the forest, there's the body of the cat and the neighbor.
Yeah.
I
also wanted to say that there was a dumb scene at one point where
there was a lot of dumb scenes.
Okay, so
you need to be a little bit more specific.
Which dumb scene are we talking about?
Getting audio overload with all this fucking screaming, and then there's this one scene where I forget who died or who got attacked at one point, and then someone just screamed in the background. They're like, oh, what was that? I'm how the fuck can you tell the difference? You were screaming for about the last 45 minutes, and now you're what was that? What was that scream? It was so stupid. I was just dude.
Or even, yeah.
Did you not hear what was
when she was going to the road to sneak off to the party? Is that the scene you were talking about where she goes back?
No, I think it might have been when they discovered the first uncle. I don't know. There was a scream. That was just how do you know that scream versus all the other screams? How do you tell the difference?
Differentiate. Yeah. That's probably one of the things where it's you hear all the screaming, and then, eventually you get to some kind of, red blood and some murder or accident or whatever. And it takes so long to get there. You're just literally, at least when I was watching it, I was okay, somebody's going to die right here. Fucking somebody die, please. Fuck. And finally, by the time it gets to the person, I'm really? It's going to happen just now? Fuck. Why couldn't they have a lot of animals in the house and Where did so-and-so go?
They needed more animals.
Something, dude. Somebody or something needed to fucking die.
This was Children Screaming the musical. This is what we watched.
Like Children of the Corn 6 was better than this. I'm just saying, okay? And that
Okay,
movie's
I do have a
horrible.
question for you guys though, because I can't decide who was patient zero. Who was the kid?
Xylophone boy, right?
See, and
Are you sure,
that's where I think at the very end when the credits rolled, they should have either showed something in a hospital, or even this might have been more vague, but I thought it would have been cool. Or after a little bit of the credits, it shows why the police didn't come because they got overtaken by all the kids. I would have loved to see all those kids trying to take over the cops and not one pull a gun.
The kids don't have power. They're just evil. You know what I mean? Like they're just whatever.
But there was a lot
of
My cut from the tree.
What's that, Heather?
How many 11-year-olds can you take?
Right. That's what reminded me of there was a Family Guy episode where they were playing like some drinking game, and they're like, "How many fourth graders do you think you could kill?" Like, what's the max number before you get overwhelmed?
Holy Lord!
See,
They said it I was thinking a number, and they said the number, and for me, fourth graders are around 9 years old, so that's a little bit younger.
So what? 20?
I said it. I think it was like 100.
Yeah, about there.
You just wallop them.
Get a dodgeball, bro.
We're playing this game. If it's 11, it's going to be less. It's going to be, I think,
You're like 50.
You get some strong 11-year-olds.
Oh, I don't think I could take 50 11-year-olds.
I could not.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't scale.
I
So
don't know.
you got to think about it. Like kids that age, they could use their full body weight. They could use you like a monk, just like a monkey bar situation and just weigh you down, and that's all it takes.
Yeah. Like I could take a horde of 5-year-olds, but 11-year-olds, I feel like 10 maybe.
Have you guys seen Cooties?
I would put myself at 20.
Anybody here seen
You
Cooties?
would put yourself at 20. I would
do
pay
it
to
over
see. I would pay to see you try and take on
20 11-year-olds.
So right when we hit this discussion, there's a small little indie horror flick called Cooties, and it's about these teachers and teachers' assistants who are stuck in the school because one of the kids somehow got infected with something, infects the other kids, and then the kids become these like heinous, rabies-ridden, like murder-thirsty children. And it's not, and it doesn't take itself seriously. It's like literally just like these, think Zombieland-ish is the best way I can describe it. The end movie isn't very great, but the journey before the end of the movie is fucking awesome. Seeing Elijah Wood run across the fucking playground as these little kids are trying to murder him. It's
Can I say that was my favorite part of this film was that they were killing little kids. Like that was the enemy.
That was great, actually.
Every time there was like a kill, like a good kill, it was a child. And it was like awesome.
I know.
Dude,
the only one willing to kill was the teenager who was like,
Yeah.
"Why are you guys stalling?" Okay, but the
He
whole
took care of
reason,
business.
the whole reason I was like, "Who is patient zero?" is because I think it was Miranda, the blonde girl who the one that didn't like her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never saw her get sick with the signs. She was always a snotty, nasty little girl to her sister. And she always tried to push everybody out. And she literally told her mom, like, take care of Leah and Ricky. Like, and then she just ran away with her dad when he ducked out. So I was like, I think she might be patient zero. It was right after she got sent to bed with Leah. When they were playing in the room, Leah started coughing. They weren't interacting before that. She was only interacting.
I think the stepdad gave it to the blonde-haired kid. I think he was messing with the Wuhan, and
okay,
because
it's not local.
He was bringing home some.
It was all underground
China,
black
right?
market shit.
China.
Juju.
So that's what I think.
That's interesting
black
because
market stuff.
They got the coronavirus.
Yeah, this is the Rona before it was the Rona.
Wuhan clan.
That's
Like
interesting.
he was
that
only
didn't occur to
teaching
me.
her Chinese. I thought that was a little odd. He was only teaching her Mandarin when that was his entire work. Like I feel like sure, like there was always that plan to be like, well, just me and you, princess. We leaving. We
Oh
go.
yeah, he was the evil doctor, experimenting with his Wuhan uh, stuff
I'm
on
sad I didn't get
the
to see him
on the
die.
younger boy, and yeah, he got the Wuhan too.
Yeah, because he didn't like any of his other kids. He only liked his little blonde girl, Miranda. So I was
Yeah,
like, maybe she was patient zero and infected all the other kids.
yeah, and
That's where I
she
feel
became
like
immune. Yeah.
I feel like it could have been a better movie if it played more into that kind of into what the dynamics were and into like
Something.
are these just really awful children or are they like possessed by some weird parasite that's making them evil?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
honestly, I felt like that's a great theory, and it would have been a better plot, I think. But I don't think that's what they intended. I think what happened was it's localized because remember at the end, there's all these other kids that
All
were
the
there,
other kids.
and they're it couldn't have spread that fast. Like they didn't even get off the property really. So all the kids in that area were probably being affected by it.
I think it was global. I think it was a global thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I say one more thing about this movie that I did not like?
it was hot garbage.
And then we will give our rankings.
Cinematography. This is where it becomes noticeably bad cinematography, and it's kind of paired up with the editing. To Heather's point, like the editing was a little choppy, but also there was one. I don't know if you remember. It was like the overhead shot where she found the body that was being dragged that got dragged.
Oh, into the tent.
And the overhead shot, I was like, dude, move a little bit more to the. I can't see what you're trying. It was such a jarring shot.
Yeah, the air cam wasn't
Honestly,
working.
it annoyed me. It annoyed my eyeballs when I was looking at it.
I would rather have seen a behind the shoulder camera
Yeah.
than a fucking Diablo 3
I
fucking
was
sky
like,
cam.
just a little to the left, bro. Like, bad acting when you're realizing there's an actor there and not the actual person, the character. And bad cinematography is when you can feel the cameraman doing this, and you're like, no, do it the other way. Come on.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't appeasing to the eye, and it was kind of distracting because of that.
My
Like when
spidey sense was
cinematography
tingling.
is seamless and like so good you can't look away.
Yeah.
With that, like the story's kind of like, all right, I'll let it slide. Like this is really nice to look at. Kind of like the Scarlett Johansson movie that we watched, Under the Skin. The
that was way better.
cinematography is so beautiful and so good.
Yeah,
that was way better.
Certainly was not carrying this movie.
Wow.
I think it needed more kids, more whining and more kids, so that way the parents could just lose it and then fucking we'd have like a bloodbath. I'd be fine with that. Bobby's been whining for 24 hours. Let's kill them all.
I feel like it could have been good if it played more like that movie We Need to Talk About Kevin, I think is.
Oh yeah, fucking amazing movie. Oh my god. Write that one down, Keith.
So if it had somehow managed to be something in between that movie and like The Crazies or like other.
Those are both better than this movie though.
Right. I mean, I feel like that's what I was hoping for, and it just disappointed me because it wasn't that. You know what I mean? But it's like,
I'm shocked that Sam Raimi produced it.
So bad.
He owns the Ghost that company. So I'm wondering if he watched it and was like, this is a great movie.
But no, this is not a good movie, and I feel like it was bad on all fronts. But it had a really great premise that like is a classic premise that plays into something I'm terrified of, which is white children.
White children. Racist.
And my last pick had a murderous child in it too. That was Korean because it was a Korean movie, and I realized that both of these movies had like a excessive screaming. Like the last one was literally called The Wailing.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm like making connections and I'm realizing because I don't like all of the screaming that happened in this movie.
No.
But see, the difference between The Wailing and this movie
Shrieking.
was that kid in The Wailing, when she was acting. Like those screams were necessary.
Better edits for damn sure.
Yeah, they were
Jesus.
necessary and they gripped you. Meanwhile, it was like somebody couldn't corral a bunch of really, really overworked and tired kids, and they were like, "Fuck it, we'll just scream as loud as you can. You're tired, just scream.
That's
Do
why
whatever
they said,
you need."
what is it, Goonies, Little Rascals, anything that had a lot of kids where they had to direct them is, or even if bad comparison, but also any production also that has a shit ton of animals, because you can't control children or animals. You can't. I mean, you're going to get the best you can out of them, and that's about as best you can do. Which is why, like, a lot of these directors try to avoid working with animals or children, and that's not a lie. You can look all that shit up. It's really true. It's just
I
really.
believe that. Of course, I don't work with animals or children in real life. Why would I?
Feeding children to animals, though, that's a different story.
They're the only things that pay in babysitting. Yeah.
See, that's like Adventures in Babysitting in Hell.
Exactly. All right, Stefan, what would you rate this movie?
I'd rate it 0.0 hot garbage.
I'm actually gonna give it a better rating than the last movie we watched, which I gave 0 stars to. I'm gonna give this one 1.5 stars for trying, for having a good idea, for having a great compound fracture scene, and that's about it. Oh,
negative 0.
A great scene of a girl getting hit by a car, and that part was also great.
Okay, no, that part, yeah, I'll give you that, Heather. I'll give you that. When she got smacked by the car, okay.
That gets half a star on its own,
Okay, we won't go negative 0, we'll go positive 0.
So 1 star just out of spite for Black Christmas, and then the half a star for a couple cool.
For spite? For spite? Okay. What the fuck?
I can handle that. What about you, Keith?
Okay. I'm gonna throw something out here that you guys are gonna be shocked. What the fuck is the Keith pee in a fountain somewhere?
Oh, he loved the movie.
Is this opposite day for Keith? But another thing that bothered me about this film is that it's a Christmas horror movie, but like there's almost no mention of Christmas. You know what I mean? Nope. It's not a theme. It's not really. It's just like, oh, by the way, it also happens on. It could have happened on any other day of the year, and it would have been the same film.
Yeah, that was something too. Like at the very minimum, they could have incorporated some Christmas shit into the
yeah, candy cane stabbings. There
was a sled, so I guess the sled is a start, right?
Scalding hot cocoa with fucking marshmallows. Just saying.
The sled, sure.
Fuck.
So and I'm kind of
a body in Santa's sack.
I'm gonna be around Heather's rating, I think. I'm going to say for all of its flaws, and it did have some good gore, not great.
Yeah, the gore was decent.
They didn't really they didn't give it its chance. They didn't really feature the gore, like the doll that was shoved into the guy's guts and he was still alive.
That was funny.
Come on, man.
That was funny, dude. Come on.
I'm going to give it 1 star. I'm sorry. I can't give it any more than 1 star.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and second Heather and give it a 1.5 star. 1.5 stars just because, I mean, they had somewhere to go with it. Like, I really, really wish that the whole thing, like when Keith said, I like the idea that you have about Miranda, but I don't think that's where they were going with it. Like, they had a solid premise, and then they were just like, okay, we're just going to make this super cool and exactly what we want. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like they had a story, and then they just didn't. And I also don't like, so in the credits on IMDb, it says, director Tom Shankland and writers Paul Andrew Williams, story, and then Tom Shankland. So I feel like he had a story and the director was like, but wouldn't it be better if we did it like this? Like, that's what that tells me right there. Was that he made so many changes and so many notes that he had to be put down as a writer as well as the director.
I think part of that was probably just because he honestly was not a super competent director, because that's how I feel a lot of it was that, like, it could have been a lot better if they were actually able to, like, set a tone and an atmosphere, but I feel like they couldn't do that, and they tried and it came off just like horrendous.
Yeah, none of the characters were likable. Like, I was rooting for no one. Mm-hmm. Like, the mom Cool, she survived. That's nice. You almost left your daughter to a horde of children at the end. The teenager, I mean, come on. There could have been like
I was
she could
rooting
have
for
a
the
little
murderous children, actually. I was.
You know what would have been a better ending? Is if the government decided they cannot control the children, those naughty little fuckers,
Yeah.
and they drop a fucking bomb, dude. And the ending is the bomb fucking falling.
Could have been like right after the credits, right? Like you rolled the credits and then right after the credits.
But I just want to see the children try to run from the fucking nuclear
my God.
blast.
It did kind of like it reduced itself to like sort of a music video as opposed to a movie because it had just concept. It didn't really flesh anything out thoroughly enough.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they would have dropped the bomb, bro, I'd have gave it a star. I would have given it a star just based on that. How are the government gonna deal with the evil children?
All right, so our review of The Children is, with all of us combined, I am no math whiz, but I'm pretty sure collectively we gave it 3/4 of a star.
No, I think
You're
it's
not
low.
gonna like this movie, but if you want to watch it, it's a movie. I
Stefan,
feel like
were you a 0 or?
I'm a 0. If you want to watch this movie, put your balls in a vice, get a fucking hammer and a bag of ice, and go to town. All right?
Ooh.
Hot
It's a
garbage.
0.
not me
It's
with
an
a
average of a 1-star rating from the 6.
Okay. All right. So you guys want to hear what you guys get to choose from?
Yes.
Can
lay
I
it on
stab
me.
my ears?
Buckle up because
I'm
we're
just
going
kidding.
to Campy Town today.
Uh-oh, Keith's in
on.
trouble.
All right. So
get the first half of this movie and just watch like the second, like just watch the children murder everybody and you're good. That's my
Okay, I can agree with that statement.
recommendation
My
for the
plan.
children.
recommendation.
Okay, so I've got 4
Watch the
movies for you
minor.
guys for next week. Okay. Don't judge, don't hate. I
Don't-
do consider I love you guys, so just bear with me. The first movie that is up for discussion is The Ginger Dead Man from 2006.
It's just a solid
You
no.
guys are doing it. All right, let's see.
In a quiet bakery, one woman is about to confront her past.
I've got to fight back.
Comedian, I already love the voiceover.
An unforgivable act of violence.
It also says here that after
Very
he fried him in the
Busey.
chair, they cremated him and sent his ashes to his mother in Coonsville.
Coonsville.
My question.
Must be that gingerbread.
Erratic man. Up on horse tranquilizer.
And it was
Whoa.
blood. Come on.
Health Department.
An unholy curse.
What does that do?
I know what. I mean, who it is.
You know Satan? What? What's going on?
Why'd you come and get me?
A new kind of cookie.
The
Assuring the Pillsbury fucking doughboy.
face is the best.
Oh my fucking lord.
This is not a comedy?
It's not a horror movie, it's a comedy.
It's more of
He's got a gun?
He's got a gun.
Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, so,
I don't think the physics.
dude, I could watch this with my kid.
You are one
Go
run
Busey.
fast as you can.
about a fucking
Something's in
ginger.
the oven. The ginger.
Oh my god.
Eat me,
Yeah.
bitch.
That was a sketch.
Eat me, you punk bitch.
That was a sketch.
It was bad enough with snowmen growing up because of Jack Frost. Shit.
Well, fun fact, there is also after this movie they made a shit ton of movies.
Oh yeah, that has a lot of sequels actually.
And 2 of those movies are The Ginger Dead Man versus the Evil Bong. The other one is The Ginger Dead Man versus Jack Frost. So that's the first one.
What?
Yep.
Oh
it's
no,
real.
you made Heather's head's gonna explode.
I'm gonna
It's
go. I'm looking it up
real.
on Tubi right now.
I am definitely not looking it up on Tubi.
Okay, so the next movie we have
Garbage.
is, of course, somebody was gonna do it, so why not make it me? 2015's Krampus.
I already know what my choice is.
Hold on. Wait. There's
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Same director of Trick or Treat, Michael Dougherty.
With the kids jingle bells.
Merry Christmas! Looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here.
This is delicious, honey.
A little dry.
Well, mine's delicious.
Fucking classic.
Do you want to trade?
It's the
It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
with those holiday greetings and
Fuck yeah, baby.
How we were going to survive Christmas with 12 people stuck in a house with no heat and no electricity.
Or food.
There's plenty of leftovers, Howard.
Beer it is.
Me.
Cars and people.
How long can this keep up?
We heard something on the roof.
What the hell is this?
It's Satan.
Is not coming this year. Instead, a much darker, ancient spirit.
I love that when
Elk?
there's somebody that's all knowing that knows the story. They're like, bitch, why don't you tell us about this? Like,
Have you seen this one yet, Keith? Have you seen this one, Keith?
I have, but it's been a while.
Okay.
But to take.
We should still review it.
No, I love this movie. I'm a huge fan of the director.
Hold on to each other.
He is the shadow of Saint Nicholas.
Krampus. Oh yeah, fucking amazing movie.
I mean, amazing. Really strong.
As far as the Krampus genre, it's the better one that I've seen.
That's gonna happen on Christmas.
And there's a lot of Krampus movies.
I liked how it was comedians that were decent actors.
Oh yeah.
Love when they do that in films.
It did have decent actors in it for sure. It has a good cast.
Mhm.
And I love the creatures.
It has
I've
really
never
good
seen it before. It's been on my list. So I figured somebody was going to pick Krampus. Like I said, it may as well be me. This one was one that I found that I've never seen. And it's a Christmas horror story from 2015. Hold on. Where did the trailer go? There it is.
I was looking at this one for my picks.
Is the sound working for you guys too?
Yeah.
I can hear.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, so this is the trailer for A Christmas Horror Story.
Oh, I've seen this trailer.
Merry Christmas.
Shatner?
Christmas,
Yeah.
the most magical time of year.
Tell me we will find the perfect Christmas tree.
It's Christmas. Christmas is all about forgiveness and
Hallmark
family
Horror
and traditions.
presents.
Santa, lots of kids are depending on tonight going off without a hit.
But in Bailey Downs this Christmas, it's different.
Exactly 1 year ago, last Christmas Eve, the school was the scene of an unimaginable crime.
The CW presents.
And you still want to go down there just for some stupid school assignment?
Oh, he's in the 100 on CW.
This is Krampus, right?
What's a Krampus?
He's like an anti-Santa Claus, a demon who punishes the naughty. He whips them and chains them up, stuff like that.
He's a wrestler.
It's the elves. I fear they may all become infected. How did it all come to this?
psychopath on the loose.
Bring the changeling back to the forest. That ain't your son.
Did you not see what he did?
The atmosphere here in Bailey Downs is truly grim this holiday season.
I don't know. Could Shatner make this better?
I mean, it looks like schlocky trash, but it looks like unschlocky trash.
Doesn't.
That already has
yes.
Yeah, I already knew Keith would want. I already knew Keith would want that one.
Yeah.
It's got William Shatner and Santa Claus fighting zombie elves. Okay. And we already watched the trailer for my last movie last week. It's Anna and the Apocalypse 2018. Right? We watched that last week?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Trailer. I mentioned it, but I didn't.
No, yeah. I don't think Keith saw the trailer for that one.
You guys want to watch the trailer?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, we're running late on time, aren't we?
Barely.
Whatever.
Yeah, according to my clock.
According to my clock.
A minute and 36. We can do it.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Young Anna was nestled, all snug in her bed, not knowing tomorrow she'd meet the undead. How would she survive what this season would bring? Well, that's simple. She'd stab, she'd slash, and she'd sing.
Already horrified.
You're already horrified. I think I got a tingle in my nethers.
Oh no.
What?
Justin Bieber's a zombie.
How do you have time to fucking dance? Oh, man. Like, if there was no singing, I would be so fucking down, dude. I would be so down. The fact they got to dance and sing, though, it's like, oh.
That's what makes it unique.
The only musical I've ever liked in my life was Cannibal the musical.
Oh yeah, from
that's
the
a good one.
From the
That's
South
a
Park
good one.
readers. Matt Stone
But
Tree
I would,
Parker.
I would give this one a chance to become the second musical that I like.
Well,
And the Apocalypse.
my vote's for Shatner.
My vote's for Krampus.
Oh wow.
Splitting down party lines, guys.
Okay, so it's between Krampus and the other Krampus movie.
Krampus versus Krampus.
So there's Krampus, and then
Krampus.
the Shatner movie is kind of like Trick or Treat. It's like an anthology.
Has anyone seen that movie? Can you at least promise me that William Shatner fucking dies before I take his time?
No, he's just the voiceover guy.
Shatner's character is called Grampus.
Because I fucking
Wow.
because nothing
Fucking
no,
A.
you know, I happen to not like William Shatner very much, and I don't want to like watch him walk out of a fucking horror movie.
He's not gonna die in it, bro. He's the talent.
I really need him to fucking die in that movie.
Heather, he has plot armor, Heather.
I have high hopes that he dies.
It's going to get 0 stars if he doesn't die.
He's not gonna die, dude. He's like the Crypt Keeper. He just tells the story.
Well, I've already seen Krampus and I haven't seen that one, so I'm gonna go with the one I haven't seen by default.
Oh, then you love William Shatner. What are you talking about?
Krampus, I didn't think it was that good, and I would be willing to give it a second chance. But the first time I watched it, I was like, "This is some fucking kitschy horror bullshit. It's not scary enough."
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
All right.
Christmas Horror Story then.
And I don't think that Christmas Horror Story is gonna be scary either, but it's gonna, probably be.
I just hope it's an hour long. Fuck.
I just hope it's fucking funny. I
know
don't
it's gonna
know
be
what I'm
schlock.
expecting.
No, it's gonna be horrible. What are you talking?
It's
That's my kind of movie, y'all.
It's gonna
All
be
right,
a
cool.
Marvel Christmas movie with.
What are you talking about? That'd be better.
Next week, we're going to be reviewing a Christmas horror story from 2015. And that's it on this episode of Sick Folks of Cinema.
Goodbye,
See
everyone.
you guys next week.
Buy me Christmas presents.
Thanks for listening. Merry Christmas. We'll see you on Christmas.
Yep.
Pull the pen from my eye socket, somebody.
All right.
Bye.
Cum bug.